questions for chapter 4, your little atheist books. You can use your big atheist books um, refer to if you need to. Hi, Angela. Good morning. We're on chapter 4. So we're going to discuss the emboldened. Did you have time to answer those yesterday?
It was optional.
It was optional. If you tell kids something's optional, almost all of them know. Not going to do it. So anyway, that's okay because we're going to discuss them and you can write them down. So when you look at God's creation, what comes to mind? Have anybody ever been to the Grand Canyon? Anybody ever been out on a very dark night in a dark place and looked up at the sky? Anybody ever been in, first place I think it was the Grand Tetons, but a beautiful mountain range. Beach. So what are your thoughts when you see God's creation?
Grand Canyon.
What? Stunning. Yeah. What else? Absolutely. What else? Yeah. Look at the immensity of the universe. What else? When I think about the God's creation, nice thing. If you stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon, it's just breathtaking. Or get somewhere where it's really dark and see all the stars. I saw the Northern Lights. So the beauty and the precision and the immensity is overwhelming. And all of it was created by God. Why do you believe the magnitude and magnificence of the universe could not possibly be an accident? They're assuming you do. So if you do, why do you believe that? Yeah. It's too precise. What's an accident like? It's messy, it's chaotic. But even an accident, even though we call it an accident, it has a cause, right? Every accident has a cause. One of the things that bothers me is when someone does something and something bad happens and they say, well, I didn't mean to. Yeah, but you meant to throw the rock that broke the window, right? You intentionally threw the rock. You didn't mean to break the window, but you intentionally, even an accident has. So I want to illustrate this for you a little bit. I thought of this morning. Wait, maybe this is correct. Nope, yep, I'm not going to illustrate it again. I'll illustrate it for you in a little bit. And then the second thing is that the universe is far too precisely fine-tuned to be an accident. Again, an accident only undoes. It only is chaos. It doesn't bring things together. What proofs can you offer that support the divine design of the universe? Great galaxy seeds.
Surge.
The things you learned in Surge. Then what else from this chapter? Yeah, the anthropic constants, all of those anthropic constants that are precisely tuned. And if they changed even a little bit, there not only would there not be human life, there wouldn't be life on Earth. It would be Mars or Venus or an asteroid. I mean, it would have, we would have no life. And then the teleological argument itself, right, is proof that every design has a designer. So speaking of the teleological argument, what does the teleological argument mean, and why is it important to know? So let's start with writing down the teleological argument. What's the first premise of the teleological argument? Every design had a designer. So number one, every design had a designer. They should know. So you look at my board over there. Maybe let's look at the new "Fear Not, God is with you." How do you assume that got there? Yeah, somebody had to intentionally create that. Yeah, right? If I said to you that I was walking over there with this drawer open and I tripped and I fell, and that's what happened, right? Are you going to be like, wow? No, that's not possible. That's crazy talk. Every design had a designer. What's the second premise? The universe has a highly complex design. So then what's the conclusion of this logical argument? The universe had a designer. Again, it's a valid argument, and it's a true argument, right? So because the universe has a highly complex design, it must have a designer. Now let's get to the important part. Why is that important to know? Okay, if there's a designer, there's a supernatural being. We haven't gotten to the God part yet, but yes. And that's important to know. You want to know if there's a supernatural being, a creator, a designer. Anyone here thinking about going to UNO, UNL, Ohio State, Iowa? Jake, in your biology class at UNL, what is going to be the default teaching on you? Yeah, it says what? That God doesn't exist. It's all a cosmic accident. It's important to know this because the assumed belief is that the universe is an accident, or that swirling mathematical points created the universe, or that it just appeared out of nothing. And even those who hold to an atheist worldview, those who hold to a belief that the universe is an accident, admit that it appears to be designed. It looks designed, just like that does. They just think somebody tripped in all those letters. So I talked to you a little bit about how an accident only creates chaos. An accident doesn't cause things to come together. And for some reason, I was thinking about a number of years ago now. Katie was an early driver, so she's 25 now. So it's probably 9 years ago. It was in the summer before her birthday. I think it was probably 9 years ago. And we had a brand new, first new car I had ever owned, a brand new Kia Sorento. And Katie was, I don't know if you know Bellevue at all, but she was on Lincoln Road, not far, not at the top of the hill, not far, going up Lincoln Road, not far from Lake Robin School, not far from your grandmother's house. And a truck came over the hill, and the truck was moving more and more toward Katie's lane, and Katie kept moving farther and farther toward the side of the road. And by the time the truck hit her nearly head on, she was completely off the road. And they could see no people, or no driver in the driver's seat. The woman had fallen asleep, and crashed into our car. I'm going to show you where our car went.
Wait, why didn't she slow down and let the truck pass?
She couldn't get out of the way. So here's what our car looks like. Does that look like it's designed? In some sort of order? That's where it leads. Bob said that. So my point in showing you is that an accident never is ordered. There's nothing ordered about an accident. All an accident can do is disorder. Order cannot come out of chaos without somebody intentionally bringing order to that chaos. Now our car was totaled, which is why I drive a Sportage now instead of this. Although I have order can only come out of chaos if somebody causes it. That order can come out of chaos. If you walk into, probably not actually, most teachers think they're a miracle worker. But I suppose there would be some time when you could walk into Mrs. Portmiller's second grade room and things are a little chaotic. And they would remain so if there wasn't someone there to bring order. It doesn't happen by accident. Okay, next question. Who were the two famous scientists who confirmed the validity of the teleological argument? Who was one of them? Isaac Newton was one, and William Paley. Isaac Newton and William Paley. Now this says, what common sense assertion did William Paley give in support of the teleological argument? But what analogy did he give about the teleological argument? The watch and the watchmaker, right? If you come across a diamond-studded Rolex in the middle of a forest, you wouldn't assume that there had been some sort of tornado that rocked that into, the pieces together, brought the pieces together and dropped it right there. You wouldn't assume that it fell out of an airplane and landed there, or that the forces of nature somehow brought the diamonds and the glass and the hands and the intricate machinery inside. What would you assume? What?
Someone dropped it.
Well, yes, someone dropped it, but what would you assume about how that watch came to be? Someone designed it and created it. Someone designed it and created it. But when it comes to the universe, most scientists can't bring themselves to say that's true. As I told you before, Richard Dawkins said um, uh, that evolution is the belief that something that appears to have been designed and created actually came about. What is the anthropic principle and why is it important? First of all, anthropic means human or man. So these are principles for humans. Like this, these are principles that allow human life. In other words. So what is it? What is the anthropic principle? Let's say that louder.
The highly precise and intuitive environmental conditions
That what?
that make up what is known.
True, but not what I'm looking for. It's the concept that the universe is extremely fine-tuned to support human life on Earth. That's the less sciencey way. The concept that the universe is extremely fine-tuned to support human life on Earth. The concept that the universe is extremely fine-tuned to support human life on Earth. And then they give you 5 anthropic constants. Are those the only ones? No, there are many, many, many more. So what's anthropic constant 1 on page 98? The oxygen level, which is what? What is the oxygen level on it? 21%. What will happen if you increase it by 4%? Rampant fires. Rampant fires. What if you lower it 6%? Suffocate. So the oxygen level is 21%. What's the second one? Yeah. So basically what that means is how permeable is it? Like how hard is it to get through? Or what is the how thick is the barrier for sunlight to reach it? So what happens what would happen if the atmosphere was any thicker? That's what less transparent. Yeah, we wouldn't get enough solar radiation. We wouldn't be able to survive because it would be too cold. What if there was less atmosphere? What if it was thinner, less atmosphere? Burn up. Too much solar radiation. What's anthropic constant number 3? Right. So Earth's gravity has an effect on the moon. The moon's gravity has an effect on the Earth. It's kind of like if you took those bands that used to be so popular for like old people workouts, right? And you took let's use Ben and Hayes. You're the moon. Hayes is the right, and you're pulling on each other. Right? So that pull between the two of them, one's going to be greater than the other, right? And so it's a very precise gravitational pull in both directions. So what happens if that pull were greater? The pull back and forth was greater. Yeah. There'd be ocean issues, the tides, and the rotation. There'd be problems in the atmosphere. The rotation would be too severe. What if it was less? What if that gravitational pull was less? Maybe I'm reading the wrong place. Oh, yeah, that's what I had. Climactic instability. So if you think the climate is changing in Nebraska now, right? We've got 80 degrees, today, and who knows what it will be next. It will be far more unstable. What's the fourth anthropic constant? Yeah, the amount of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. The carbon dioxide. Now, if you moved it just a little bit either way, there's no life. Not just non-human life, there's no life. But what's going to happen if the carbon dioxide level is higher? Yep, we burn up. They do a runaway greenhouse effect, and it would get far too much radiation from the sun. What if there was less? Yeah, and we wouldn't be able to eat. There'd be no such thing as photosynthesis. And what's the last anthropic constant? The gravity, the strength of the gravity. And if there was even an infinitesimal change, just the smallest, slightest change, what would happen? We'd have no sun, no solar system. It's precise. So here's how what I want you to do with the rest of your time. You'll see that on page 33 and 34, it's taken directly out of the book. So on pages 105, 106, fill in those blanks, and we'll go over it. We actually, well, you didn't really do it. No, so we won't do that. Don't worry about that. So tomorrow we start Apollo 13 to give you a real life picture of exactly what they were talking about in this first part of the time. What?
What do you mean?
The movie. I'm gonna watch it. Okay? Okay, dokie. That's it for today. You can chat. Soon. Bye, Angela.
How?